The majority of economists think that technological innovation is a major driver of economic growth and human well-being. Negative cultural attitudes toward technology and its disruptive impacts may jeopardize realizing these advantages. Benefits accrue from technological advancement. It boosts production and provides inhabitants with new and improved goods and services, raising their overall level of living.
What is up, guys? Good evening, and I am Lay Jetro Mabute, and tonight we'll be talking about virtual reality. So, for the agenda of this video, or the overview of the presentation, first we would want to know what is virtual reality. Of course, you would like to know what is virtual reality. Second, how do we use it? Then, what can we use it for? Then lastly, what is the chemistry behind virtual reality? Now, let's proceed with the first one. So basically, virtual reality immerses the user in an experience unlike traditional user interfaces, such as cell phones, tablets, computers, or TVs, anything that has screens on it. Users are immersed in and able to interact with 3D environments. The computer is converted into a gatekeeper to this artificial world by replicating as many series as possible, including vision, hearing, touch, and even smell. The main constraints to near-real VR experiences are a lack of content and inexpensive processing power. Virtual reality's most immediately recognizable component is the head-mounted display, or what's so-called the HMD VR. Human beings are visual creatures, and display technology is often the single biggest difference between immersive virtual reality systems and traditional user systems. Like this one. Yeah. So that is virtual reality. Let's move on to the next one.
What can we use it for?
Well, of course, there are a lot of things that we can use VR for. It can be a profession, it can be entertainment, lots of things, but I will give you many examples. Well, first, you can have a knife skill combat training with Robin Padilla.
Ang lakas oh. Oh my God. Ang lakas oh. Nahilo ko eh. Ang lakas oh. Tingnan mo.
Or you can have a gun training with Robin Padilla.
Ang lakas oh. Oh my God. Ang lakas oh. Nahilo ko eh.
Enough with the Robin Padilla stuff? Or maybe you can watch K-drama in this virtual reality. Also, this virtual reality can be used for performing surgeries, but not real surgeries.
What would that number be in a healthy kid?
About 8.
If we go anywhere near that number, we won't have enough support for the valve.
You can have a space simulator to know what it's like living in the outside world.
Motion commencing.
It was my call on the soundtrack. If you're more into the sound of silence, just tap the panel on your left arm.
Also, you can have healthcare VR training. Also, emergency VR training such as fires. You can also perform manufacturing VR training. That's all that I can show you for now, but there are a lot of things that you can use virtual reality for, not just games, entertainment, or training, so much more.
How do we use it?
So, how do we use it? How do we use the virtual reality? Well, first you need to have the device. So, how do we use the device? Well, first you have to order it from Lazada or some shop. Search it, Lazada, then go VR, maybe it's $2 or something, and wait for it to be delivered, then unbox, then unpackage, then you have the VR. Well, to use it, of course you will need to have a phone, which you're gonna put it in the tray, and then after you use it, you have to satisfy the settings to your own liking. So that's how you use it, just basic as that. So for the last part of this presentation is the chemistry behind virtual reality. So virtual reality technologies plays with our senses to transport us to any world that we can imagine. How do VR environment convince your brain to take you to these different places? How does your brain in turn react as you explore a virtual world? So how does that happen? How does science behind this happen? Your brain fluids on your past experience to develop rules by which to interpret the world. For example, the sky tells you which way is up, shadows tell you where the light is coming from, the relative size of things tell you which one is farther away. These rules help your brain operate more efficiently. So, the VR developers take these rules and try to provide the same information for your brain. In the virtual world, in an effective virtual environment, moving objects should follow your expectations of the laws of physics. Shading and texture should allow you to determine depth and distance. Sometimes, when the virtual cues don't quite match your brain's expectations, you can feel disoriented or nauseous. Because the human brain is much more complex than even the most sophisticated computer. Scientists are still trying to understand which cues are most important to prioritize in VR. A virtual reality headset works because of a physiological concept known as stereopsis. Now, this is the most important part of this topic, stereopsis. Well, there is an experiment that I want to show you how stereopsis works.
This experiment to see how your eyes see in 3D. Hold up your index finger about an arm's length in front of your face. Stare at your finger and close your right eye. Notice how your finger slightly shifts to the right. Now, open your right eye and close your left eye. Notice how your finger shifts to the left. Now, alternately close one eye at a time. Your left eye sees a different image than your right eye. Your brain uses a process called stereopsis to translate these two images into depth perception.
So, stereopsis is basically the visual ability to perceive the world in 3 dimensions. So what are these 3 dimensions? It's length, width, and depth. These 2 different viewing angles are processed by our brains, and relative depth is calculated based on how divergent the images are. If they barely diverge, then we know the object is far away. If they diverge significantly, the object is closer to us. Virtual reality is just actually the most basic part of the topic of this virtual world. We're not even on a deep dive yet, but someday, I believe that we won't even recognize the difference of the real world and this virtual reality. Yeah, I would like to see that. So,